Hi, Kathryn here with Handmade by Circle Art Designs. Well, welcome back to the run down to Christmas. Let's make a 3-step teardrop dangle earrings today with a poinsettia charm. Now this poinsettia charm will be gorgeous for Christmas and for your New Year's celebrations, but you can take it off and use these beautiful little 3-step dangles all year round. It's a great gift. Aren't they beautiful? I just love these. So let's get started, shall we? By turning our eyes to our work table. And as we turn our eyes to the work table, I see this beautiful, thankful, and blessed mat. I really love this mat. And truly, I am thankful and blessed, and I have been thinking about that through this Advent season. You know, we get so busy preparing for the holidays and thinking about what we want to make, what we want to buy, what we want to give, what we hope to receive, that we forget to count our blessings. So last night, as I was saying prayers before I went to bed, I just thought about all the blessings of the day that the Lord had given me. I was thankful for sitting out on the back porch with my coffee and the Word of God. And then my husband came out before he went to work, and he sat with me as well. And we had some just quiet time of enjoying the beauty of nature that the Lord had given us. And then I was thinking about people that I had passed during that day, that I had felt the nudge of the Lord just to tell them Merry Christmas and God bless, and the joy of the smiles that come on their face when you stop with a stranger and wish them the blessing of the Lord. That's things to be really grateful for. So how about you, as you're thinking about this holiday season with all its hustle and bustle? What are you truly thankful for? Friends? Family? Children? There's lots to be thankful for. All right, we're ready. Let's turn our eyes to the mat. So the first thing we're going to use are 2 pieces of these 21 by 19 millimeter poinsettia flower charms. I just love these. I thought about, just making them earrings by themselves, but then I remembered in my sketchbook these little 3-step dangles, and I thought, that will be perfect. And as you're looking, yes, my fingernails are atrocious, and I'm supposed to be going somewhere tonight. I'm going to have to do that before I go this evening. Then I have pulled out some some eye pins that I made from some copper wire that I have. I pulled out my 3 millimeter copper spacer balls. Then these little 4 millimeter, these are gorgeous little gold bicones in the 4 millimeter. Aren't those pretty? They are called champagne, and they are gorgeous. I also pulled out in the 4 millimeter these little bicones in a plum, and that's the main color of these. I've pulled out 2 of our fish hooks because that's what I'm going to put them on, but I will change them out to something I can wear later. And then I have made an assortment using my bell pliers of jump rings to match that eye pin. Now I'm going to start out by putting on one of my 3 millimeter spacer balls. And then I'm going to add a champagne bicone. Isn't that pretty? And then, let's see here. Let's go ahead and do another one of the spacer balls, and then a plum, and then another one of the champagne, and a spacer ball, and a plum, and a spacer ball. And I am going to do this all the way up. Let's look at this. I think I really like these. And so it ends up, let's do one more, as a spacer ball, and then the champagne, if I can catch it, and then a spacer ball. And so let me get a picture of this so you can see what I did. And again, I apologize for the fingernails. And I have to tell you, there's going to be another one coming up next week, and they're going to look the same way because I did these on the same day. But you might notice that the frame just before, I was missing a spacer ball. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to get you a picture. So these again are on Handmade, ones I made, eye pins. I used 20 gauge wire. I want it to be flexible. And I just turned it with my looper. These are a little over 2 inches in length, almost 2 1/4. And I have done 3 millimeter spacer ball, 4 millimeter champagne bicone, 3 millimeter spacer ball, 4 millimeter plum bicone, then the spacer ball, the champagne bicone, the spacer ball, the plum, the spacer ball, a champagne, and I ended with a spacer ball. So I am spacer ball, yes. Okay, so I am rotating these, the spacer, then the bicone, the spacer, and the bicone. And I have used 5 total in this. Now you can make it any colors you want. This is a great thing to do, not only for the holidays, but anytime. But I wanted it to have that little holiday feel. And so this is the first component of these earrings. All right, so again, this is the pattern that I wanted to use. So if you're following what I did as you're making presents for yourself or others for this holiday season, I wanted to make sure you understood. I've put it in my looper. That's one of the, first I dropped it, but I'm going to put it in my looper. And you want to butt your spacer ball right up against the edge of that looper. Make sure that your circle is turned in the same plane as the one you're making. There you go. Oh, come on. It jumped over. And then go ahead and mash the handles down. It will cut your wire, make that little loop, back it off a little bit, and you should get this beautiful little loop, and it should be in the same plane. Now you may have to take your straight nose pliers, I always do, and close up that loop you just made just a little bit. Now we're going to start bending this, and you want to bend this very gently because you have this faceted bicones, glass bicones in here, and you want to make it a little U shape, just like that. Try to make sure that your loops are even. And you know, if you have to fidget with this, fidget with it a little bit. Now I'm turning them to make sure they're going the right way. Because I've made these before, I know which direction I want my loops to go. That's another reason why you want to go ahead and use a 20 gauge. If you use an 18, it's just less pliable, but it's also less likely to bend. Now I'm straightening out my eye pin, and the one we just did was for the bottom. We'll need one of those for each of your earrings. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to put on a spacer ball, the bicone, a spacer ball, your bicone, and your spacer ball as you build these up. Oop, I got one that was stuck together. I do not know how they get stuck together, but sometimes they do, and then sometimes you have these little burrs in the inside of the spacer balls, and that's kind of a problem. But I love these spacer balls. I try to keep them all the time. I usually have one color that I hardly ever use, but I use the rest of them a lot. Okay, so now this is shorter. And what I've done is I've used, and I think, there you go, a spacer ball, the champagne, spacer ball, plum, champagne, and then ending with that spacer ball. So it's bicone, spacer ball, bicone, spacer ball, bicone, spacer ball, bicone. Now this one you should be able, if you don't drop it, to get it all the way across if you're using about a 2 1/4 inch head pin. Then again, you want to put that spacer ball right up against the edge, making sure you've taken out all the play in the wire. You're going to hold that there, mash it down, it cuts off the top, makes you that little loop, and go ahead and use your straight nose pliers if it did not close all the way. And then you're going to make sure that your circles, your little loops on the top are in the same. And that is one side of the earring. Now you're going to, the teardrop going up. So you've got the U shape at the bottom, and you're going to need 2 of these little sides for your earrings. So 2 for each earring. So you're going to go ahead and do exactly the same thing that you did on the first side. So this is component number 2. Alrighty, now aren't those pretty? I just love this champagne and plum together. It is oh, do you see that little burr in there? I'm going, get out of there. Maybe it's when they drill them, but I thought, I don't know how to make those. I don't know how to make them. Don't get me lying. All right. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and finish up this one, and we're going to go ahead and do it exactly the same way we did the other. So let me speed this up. Before we move on, would you take a moment and please like and comment on this video? And if you're not a subscriber yet, would you please subscribe to this channel and share this with family and friends? Thank you so much. All right, we're back. We've got all our pieces. Let's check and make sure that our little loops on the end of our components are going the same way. They both want to be in the vertical plane. And now these are the small little jump rings that I've made with my wire. If you'll notice, I am showing you, this is the number 3, 1, 2, 3. So that is the number 3 on my baling pliers. So I have made those, and I some with the larger one, which is number 5. There are 6 sizes on my particular baling pliers. So the next thing we're going to do, once we get these things laid out and we make sure they're all together, if I do it right, it should work. So I've pulled out my jump ring. I'm sorry, I keep falling off the screen. I think I'm on. There you go. I put one side on the bottom, then I put the other side, and I'm going to close up this jump ring just like that. Hold it between 2 chain nose pliers or a chain nose in a curve. Open one side, holding the other steady. And do you see how that jump ring, if you have it correct, it should face you. It shouldn't be the side of the jump ring that's looking at you. It should be front facing or a horizontal, making your other loops a vertical. So again, I put on my component 1, then I put on my component 2 so that they are both in the same place on that jump ring as the other side that I did. There you go. Then I'm going to close it with one side, holding the other side steady. I do a slight little rocking and then touch the top to make sure it's closed. And I don't like the way it feels, so we're going to go back on that and do it just like that and make sure that is closed. And again, as you noticed, both of these are facing the other side. Now this is the tricky part, because if you don't hold the top of your component 2s in that vertical, and this is, I'm going to use the number 4 jump ring that I have done, the largest of the jump rings. I'm going to open it up, and I have to tell you, the first time I let one of them rock to the side, I did not hold it properly. But you have to make sure that your jump rings are facing the right way, that you don't have either one of your component 2s twisted. I didn't have that one closed, so we're going to close that one. We're going to try it again. So that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking to see, do I have them held, or when I put this on, they'll be facing the right direction. And that's a little tricky. I won't tell you, oh no, this is going to be easy. I don't know, maybe you'll find it easy, but I did not, because I was constantly looking to make sure that I had these the right way. And there you go. And so now we're ready to give this a shot again. I'm holding this. I'm going to put this side on, which was a mistake, unless I change my pliers. And I'm going to put on a 3mm spacer ball. And the reason I'm doing that is it gives it a real pretty little finish at the end. Then, and I just let go because I realized my mistake here, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put on the other side. I'm going to check it to make sure my jump rings are going the correct way. Just like that. If I put them on in the right order, they will be. And they weren't. They were twisted. So I'm going to hold it again and I'm going to give it one more try. We're going to look at it. And it is. That's the tricky part of putting these earrings together. But it doesn't take a lot of time. And if you have spatial recognition better than I do, it should take you any time at all, but it does me. And then I'm putting a spacer ball on both sides of these earrings, just like that. We're going to hold it, and we should have that together. Then we're going to go ahead and put it on the other side, just like that, unless it has a burr in it, which I never know. Oh, no, come on, you can do this, Kathryn. I'm sorry, my hands are shaking real bad. When I get really tired, my hands really shake. And we have been preparing for Christmas here for about 7 days, and people coming in and out. And I tell you what, it has been something else. Go ahead and put your ear wire on, and you want to make sure that your ear wire is also in a vertical plane for this one, because your jump rings are facing horizontal. And in order for it to face the front, now if you want it to face the side, that's different, but I always make mine to face front. Now, isn't that lovely? I just think that is so pretty. Okay, let's go ahead and continue on. We're going to go ahead and get out the charm for this. And remember, that's at 19 by 22 millimeter poinsettia. Any charm you wanted to put on this, if you're using it for the holidays or a special occasion, would be gorgeous. I am using that jump ring that was number 4 right there on my bell pliers. And I'm going to, and because I want it to ride over this earring, I do not want to make a space for it, so I can use these earrings without it. So I'm placing it on the bottom. It will go over the bicones, and just make sure your jump ring, if you're making them if you're making them especially, make sure that it's big enough to ride over those. And let's see here. Oops, turn it around, Kathryn. Okay, there we go. Now, isn't that pretty? I just love that. That is so pretty. What a beautiful little earring. And again, this is a 3-step, and the reason it is, it dangles from a jump ring, then it has component 1s that dangle separately from component 2, and then you have that charm on the bottom. And that is so pretty. Look at those. They are just beautiful. It doesn't take a lot of product to do this. And any charm you have, you could even do a larger bead in the same colors if you wanted to have that dangle at the bottom, or just make them to give to yourself or to someone else. Remember, this is the season to give, and they will be beautiful. Just bicones, spacer balls, and ear wires, and then eye pins and jump rings you make yourself. Now, isn't that lovely? I absolutely love these. In fact, I am planning on wearing these on an outing that my husband is taking me to this evening. And what a blessing these are. Okay, pretty, pretty, pretty. I love them. And look at the sparkle. Oh my goodness. So when you're doing, you're thinking about things you might want to make in this last few days before Christmas, or maybe you have someone coming in that, you didn't anticipate. You could make things like this and put in your stash and get them out and be proud to give them as a gift. And look how they dangle. That is so pretty. Oh yes, and now everybody knows that I have to wear something on my eternity ring because my fingers have shrunk. All right. And I don't want to get it sized because, you never know. And here are some pictures. Again, look around in your stash. Bicones, spacers, any kind of charm, ear wires of your choosing, and you have an amazing gift for yourself or for others. Isn't that lovely? Really, think about what you have that you can make these earrings. God bless you and God keep you safe on this run countdown to Christmas. And I will see you one more time before Christmas. Kathryn, Handmade by Circle Art Designs. God bless y'all. And happy Advent. Christmas is around the corner.